Chapter 11. You are listening at Novelful.audio. The final school bell rang, unleashing students eager for club activities as they bolted to their respective interest groups. With only 6 classes a day and school ending around 3 p.m., most students were happy to stick around and pursue their passions. Of course, some kids just headed straight out, either to a part-time job or home. Nangong Yan jumped up and called out to Luanyi, who was packing his bag. "Hey, Luanyi! Hold up! Don't forget your promise," Luan yelled back. "Huh? What promise? I don't remember making any promises." "Pretty sure you were just talking to yourself." "Relax." Nangong Yan reassured him. "As Taki-kun, the blogger behind that super popular site, you've got amazing taste. If you like and recommend something, it's bound to blow up." Luan adjusted his glasses, listening to Nangong Yan. "So, you're saying this is all about my blog?" Nangong Yan said casually. "Duh. What else would I want from you?" Luan's forehead furrowed. "You're so blunt, you don't even pretend to be asking for a favor. No need for formalities between us." Luan's eye twitched, but he didn't say anything. "Right. And, hey. Kato. Don't leave yet." Just as he was about to pull Luan in, he saw Kato Megumi practically at the door. Nangong Yan rushed over and snagged her. "Where are you going? I need your input." Nangong Yan tugged on Kato Megumi's sleeve. Kato Megumi just stared at him, speechless. "Okay, can you let go now, Nangong?" Kato Megumi finally said. "Alright, but you're not going anywhere." He released her sleeve. "You two know each other, right?" Nangong Yan asked. "Well, Ani and you are both pretty famous around school. Most people know who you are," Kato Megumi said, still unfazed. "Speaking of Nangong, who is she?" Luan chimed in, looking confused. Nangong Yan feigned shock. "What? Are you serious? This is our classmate. Kato. Megumi Kato." "Huh? We have a Kato in our class." Luan looked genuinely bewildered. "Wow, hearing that still stings a little." Miss Kato didn't seem sad at all. Luan jumped back in. "Nangong, did you ask this Kato because it's related to your project?" "It's Kato. Let's talk about it all together later. You two, follow me," Nangong Yan said to them, cutting off the conversation. With that, Nangong Yan headed out of the classroom. The two behind him exchanged confused glances but followed anyway. They arrived outside grade 2G, Yinglai's class. Nangong Yan spotted Lily leaning against the wall, waiting. He walked over. "I'm here," Nangong Yan announced, signaling that the plan from yesterday was a go. Lily eyed Nangong Yan and the, no, 2 people behind him. She said flatly, "Yeah, I know. But why is he here?" Her composure cracked. Okay, even though you two are like oil and water." Nangong Yan gestured for Lily to calm down, and then explained, "You can't deny his judgment on this stuff. Wouldn't it be better with his stamp of approval?" Lily calmed down after hearing Nangong Yan's explanation and hummed. "Ha! You've got a point. He's only good for that stuff, though." Nangong Yan visibly relaxed, while Luan looked like he was standing around with nothing to do. For some reason, the 2 childhood friends had become estranged, and neither seemed to think it was their fault. They were both stubborn, and nothing could change it unless they figured it out themselves. So, everyone else just let it be. Seeing that Lily acknowledged Luan, Nangong Yan continued, "Alright then, let's head to the AV room." The group went straight to the AV room, unaware that a graceful figure watched with amusement from beside the stairs, following silently behind. Inside the AV room, Nangong Yan stood in front of the whiteboard, facing the 3 friends now seated. "Alright, I'll start now." The door creaked open, and a soft voice called from the hallway, "Excuse me. Sorry to interrupt, but could I listen in?" Lily slammed the table and stood up, exclaiming, "Keike Kasumigakaka Shiha? What are you doing here?" The girl at the door was Kasumigakaka Shiha, one of Toyozaki Academy's 4 celebrities and 2 beauties. She was also the author of the best-selling novel Love Metronome. The 4 celebrities were so famous that everyone in the school knew them. Kasumigakaka Shu entered school as the top student in her year, a beautiful and sought-after girl. Sawamura Spencer Irie was a beautiful girl who was recognized throughout the entire school, a rich girl, and the ace of the art club, one of the 2 beauties. Nangong Yan entered school as the top student in the year. He was always the center of attention. He was the eldest son of the Nangong family, a wealthy conglomerate. In his first year, he fought with the dean for permission to show animations at the school anniversary, even alarming the principal. Forget the last one. Anyway, all 4 of them were otakus, so they naturally knew each other. Kasumigakaka Shu and Irie always clashed, but Irie was no match for her. The special attributes of several people were well hidden, and only an Iluan was exposed to the public. Back to the audiovisual room. Would you mind not using my full name? Kasumigakaka Shu entered the room, looking at Irie. Sawamura Spencer Irie, classmate. Why are you here? Irie snapped. Kasumigakaka Shu replied calmly, I happened to see you discussing something in the hallway, and the group looked interesting. It piqued my curiosity. Turning to Nangong Yan, Kasumigakaka Shu asked, So? Junior, can I listen in too? Nangong Yan grinned. Absolutely. Kasumigakaka-senpai, your timing's perfect. I was actually going to ask you later. Oh. What a coincidence. I'll be the judge of that, Junior. Kasumigakaka Shu raised her eyebrows and found a seat. Nangong Yan sighed inwardly, seeing the new arrival of all of these talented people. This is unreal. God is on my side. He tapped the whiteboard to get everyone's attention, then pulled out his plan. After a moment of consideration, he began. In Itomori Town, a rural town in Hida City, Gifu Prefecture, a high school girl named Mitsuha Mayamizu dreamt that she was a boy. Chapter 12. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Following Nangong Yan's pitch, a really moving story started to come to life. Every word he spoke conjured up vivid images, the hilarious chaos of switching bodies, the breathtaking beauty of the comet streaking across the sky, and that message of love that defied time and space. They were totally hooked, hearts racing, completely lost in the possibilities. Finally, Nangong Yan wrapped things up, ready to make his big ask. Seeing the look on everyone's faces, he knew he had them. There was no way these guys were backing out now. A long silence hung in the air. Then, an Iluan finally snapped out of it. Holy crap! What is this thing? Hamura, tell me this is real. He was practically vibrating with excitement, unable to contain himself. Just from the outline, you can tell it's got masterpiece written all over it. You have to make this happen. You gotta bring it to life. Flame, I'm begging you. Do it. I'm staking my reputation on this, Taki-kun. I'll do everything I can to promote this. I'm on a mission. Gotta get the word out. Seeing an Iluan's over-the-top enthusiasm, Nangong Yan grinned. Relax, Luan Yi, this is my biggest dream too. Then, Nangong Yan turned his attention to Kasumigakaka Shu. Even this cool and collected upperclassman was visibly affected. I never expected you had this in you, Kasumigakaka Shu admitted with a sigh. You can tell it has all the makings of a classic. And it seems like you've got it all planned out. Kasumigakaka Shu's brow furrowed slightly. But I thought you wanted to make an anime movie, right? In that case, why not just let the Nangong family handle it? Nangong Yan was a little surprised by her perceptiveness, and replied with a smile, why should I hand it over to them? Yeah, they could do it, and they'd probably do a good job. But this is something I want to do. Not out of spite, not for any other reason, but because I want to create it with my own 2 hands, find people who are just as passionate, and build it together, piece by piece, until we've created something that truly moves people. Maybe an anime movie is too ambitious for a first project, but we could start with a game, a visual novel, and then a comic. Nangong Yan laid out his plan. Once the early works take off, we'll have the resources to make the movie happen later. Why give it to the Nangong family when we can do it ourselves? Nangong Yan got carried away, blurting out his biggest dreams as an otaku. The others, being otakus themselves, totally understood. Most otakus don't just want to enjoy their favorite stuff, they want everyone to love it. That's why people buy 3 copies of a single manga, one to read, one to collect, and one to share with the uninitiated. Lily spoke up. Like I said yesterday, if you can impress me, I'm in. Having regained her composure, Lily stood up, crossed her arms, and stated firmly, I admit it. This project has completely sucked me in. So, please guide me, Nangong. Lily declared, making up her mind. Nangong Yan walked over to her and extended his hand. Welcome. I won't let you down. I look forward to working with you. That they clasped hands for what felt like an eternity. Kasumigakaka Shiyu couldn't hold back. Ahem. How long are you two planning on holding hands? Cough. That they quickly pulled their hands apart, and Nangong Yan changed the subject. So, Senior Kasumigakaka, what do you think? Wanna join the team? Kasumigakaka Shiyu rolled her eyes. Nangong Yan felt a sudden chill and shivered, then his foot throbbed in pain. He looked over at Lily, who was pretending to be absorbed in the view outside the window. Nangong Yan thought to himself, what the heck just happened? A giant question mark floated above his head. Seeing Nangong Yan's clueless expression, Lily fumed internally. That idiot Nangong. He's already getting cozy with that shady girl right after inviting me. Ugh. These two rivals from Fengji Saki Academy were always at each other's throats, although Lily never actually won an argument. Ahem. Clearing her throat to get Nangong Yan's attention, Kasumigakaka Shiyu said, Are you sure you really need me, Junior? Seems like you've got it all covered. Senior, are you giving me too much credit? A person can only do so much. How about it, Senior? He repeated his invitation, using a phrase that only she would understand. I think you're indispensable, just like Iriri. Sensing a dark aura emanating from behind him, Nangong Yan quickly backpedaled. Thankfully, he managed to smooth things over. Lily slowly lowered her foot. Oh. Really? Just like someone. Kasumigakaka Shiyu feigned ignorance of Iriri's little outburst and said pointedly, Since my junior has repeatedly invited me, I suppose I'll join. As expected, that shady senior is so cunning. Lily gritted her teeth in frustration, repeatedly invited. Jerk. Fool. Though it was unclear who she was talking about, Nangong Yan extended his hand again. Welcome. I look forward to your guidance. Don't worry, Junior, I'll be sure to teach you a thing or two. Kasumigakaka Shiyu also reached out her hand, implying more than just professional advice. Nangong Yan shook her hand and scratched his head. Was it just my imagination? Why did that sentence feel a little suggestive? Finally, Nangong Yan turned to the quiet Kato, who was sitting off to the side, and extended an invitation. Kato, please join us too. What do you say? Kasumigakaka Shiyu. Lily. There's someone else here. When did she get here? Lily exclaimed in surprise. She came in with you. Hello. Nangong Yan blurted out without thinking. I didn't even notice her. Is she a ninja? Kasumigakaka Shiyu asked, equally surprised. They're just regular people. Ordinary students at our school. Nangong Yan retorted, slipping into complainer mode for the second time in a row. Even though I knew this would happen, it's still pretty shocking. Megumi Kato said in a pleasant voice, but with barely a hint of emotion. Doesn't sound shocked at all. Ms. Kato. 3 strikes. Nangong Yan decided to stop complaining. He grabbed Kato Megumi's shoulders and said seriously, Kato. I remember you. See, I haven't forgotten you at all. Yes, Nangong-kun is a truly amazing person. Maybe she sensed his sincerity, because Kato Megumi's words finally carried a touch of emotion. Cough cough cough. The coughing from behind him made Nangong Yan instinctively release Kato Megumi. So, will you join us? He finally steered the conversation back on track. Kato Megumi tilted her head and asked, puzzled, I don't understand, Nangong-kun, why do you want me to join? I can tell that the project you're describing must be something special, but I don't get it. I've never had anything to do with art, writing, or games. Why, are you inviting me? Chapter 13. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Because, hey, you're practically Saint Hui. This is huge. Nangong Yan smiled, explaining, why did I invite you? Well, there are a bunch of reasons. Kato Megumi waited for him to continue. First off, after we got the team together, besides Tomoya, who handles publicity after everything's done, the rest of us, myself included, are basically on the front lines. I can manage, but Arari and Yutaha-senpai barely have time to breathe. Hey! Who can't take care of themselves? Arari shot back, sounding annoyed. Oh really? Then who was working so hard against the deadline that they got sick without even noticing? Nangong Yan retorted. Nangong Yan scores a point against Arari, and she's got no comeback. Sawamura-san aside, Yutaha started, but Nangong Yan cut her off. And who was so focused on writing that they forgot to eat for 2 days straight and passed out from hunger? The one who missed school for 2 days, sparking all sorts of weird rumors. Yutaha got shut down. Seeing their silence, Nangong Yan turned to Kato Megumi, who looked thoughtful. Kato, you get it. I need someone to look after these two. I barely have time to take care of myself when we're trying to finish a game, and I also have a little sister to worry about. He almost mentioned the kitten, but decided against it. Nangong Yan went on, plus, once the game's done, someone needs to playtest it. And you could even learn programming and scripting. I'd be happy to teach you. Finally. Kato, do you really want to keep fading into the background? Don't you want to change things up? Hearing this, Kato Megumi's usual expression didn't change, but her eyes seemed to shine. Silence. Nangong Yan watched Kato Megumi closely, waiting for her answer. Her face remained blank, but behind her back, her left hand was clenched so tight her knuckles were white. Yutaha and Arari saw this. They exchanged glances and nodded, understanding each other. This is gonna be tough. You really have to focus to get through to Kato-san. They both thought, do you two think it's that simple? Can you really read her like Nangong Yan does? Finally, Kato Megumi spoke. Thank you, Mr. Nangong. I'm not sure if I'm up to it, but I'll do my best. Kato Megumi held out her hand. Nangong Yan was caught off guard for a second, then he snapped out of it and shook her hand. The pleasure's all mine. I'm counting on you. Is it just me, or does this feel like a first date? The two beauties of Toyosaki Academy weren't thrilled. Ahem. Ahem. They'd been coughing all day. Luckily, Nangong Yan didn't ask if they were sick. Letting go of Kato's hand, Nangong Yan said calmly, now that everyone's on board, let's pick a date for our first meeting and then. Hold on. Tomoya pushed up his glasses and stepped forward. What's up, Tomoya? Something wrong? Nangong Yan asked, confused. Huh? What about me? Why didn't you invite me? Tomoya was starting to look angry. Veins popped out on his forehead. Tomoya, aren't you handling publicity? Nangong Yan asked. Yeah, but I can do other stuff too. Tomoya's voice lacked conviction. Nangong Yan started listing roles. Like what? I'm doing the planning, directing, and writing. Arari is in charge of the art and character design, Yutaha-senpai is polishing the script and plot, and Kato is handling logistics. As he counted on his fingers, Tomoya felt like he was being stabbed. And, yeah, I can also do everything from the art to the script. After that last comment, Tomoya went silent, completely petrified. Don't worry, I'll get you involved with game testing. Nangong Yan said, then turned to the others, who were standing far away with confused looks on their faces. What's going on with you guys? Why are you all the way over there? Nangong Yan asked, puzzled. Erori, Yutaha, and even Kato Megumi's mouths twitched. Finally, Erori blurted out, Nangong, are you secretly a manipulative jerk? Nangong Yan waved his hands frantically. No. No. That's not true, that he denied it 3 times in a row. Don't get the wrong idea. I'm just being honest. Nangong Yan tried to explain, but everyone else was convinced that he was secretly playing them. Erori even thought he was on par with Yutaha. With Tomoya taken care of, Nangong Yan returned to the previous topic. Let's decide on the time for the event first, and then discuss the location of the event. Do you have any suggestions? Nangong Yan asked the 3 girls. Yutaha said, well, we're all students. It has to be after school or on weekends, right? Got it. Time's settled, then. What about a place? Nangong Yan asked. It can't be at school, can it? Everyone thought for a moment. After a while, Erori made a suggestion. Hey, Nangong, what about your place? Seeing everyone look at her, Erori explained, the Nangong family's house is perfect. Nangong's parents are gone all the time. He has a sister who doesn't go out and there are a lot of rooms at home. Hearing this and seeing that no one else disagreed, Nangong Yan said, okay. Then it's my home. Actually, Nangong Yan originally wanted to say this. After all, he could take care of Sajiri at home, but he just brought it up himself. Some know, I didn't expect Lily to bring it up. Looking at Lily, she was blinking at him. Nangong Yan understood that she did it on purpose because she knew Sajiri's situation. Thinking of this, Nangong Yan nodded gratefully to Lily. So, you have a younger sister? Yutaha raised an eyebrow, sounding thoughtful. Yeah. She's not really my sister, she's my stepmom's kid. She's been a shut-in ever since she came to our place and never leaves her room when people are around. Nangong Yan sighed and gave a gentle smile. But she's been doing better lately, so I think it won't be long before she comes out. Yutaha's face turned a little sour, and Erori realized what was happening. Another rival to watch out for. At that moment, Kato Megumi spoke up. By the way, we're a club now, right? What's our club's name? Kato Megumi's question grabbed everyone's attention. Was it on purpose? Nobody knew for sure. The club's name. Nangong Yan offered his suggestion. How about parallel dimensions? Chapter 14. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Another dimension. Several voices echoed, almost in unison. Yep. Pretty cool, right? Erori agreed with a nod. Is everything a different dimension these days? She murmured. Not bad though. Kato, what do you think? Nangong asked again. Kato nodded. It's great, Nangong. Nangong concluded, then it's unanimously approved. Our club will be called the Different Dimension Club. She understood the literal meaning, and something else Nangong wasn't saying. To commemorate his arrival in this different dimension, the club's future works would also originate from a different dimension. Alright. Today's goals are achieved, even exceeded. Nangong said, clearly surprised by Shi's joining. So, anyone want to come over to my place and check it out? Nangong asked. The 3 women discussed it briefly, and then she spoke as their representative. Not today, Junior. She refused the invitation. It's getting late. Even if we went to your place, we couldn't stay long. We're all planning to head home and prep our gear. We can jump right into work tomorrow. Erori and Kato both nodded in agreement. Besides, if you don't give your sister a heads up, wouldn't it be a bit much to suddenly have a bunch of people over? Hearing her reasoning, Nangong could only concede, okay, fair enough. I didn't think that through. So. Nangong looked around. Let's meet at the school gate after school tomorrow. That's it for today. Everyone can head home now. Listening to him, Aerie thought about what happened after school that day, and she felt a little emotional. See you tomorrow, Nangong. Then, she said goodbye to Kato. See ya. See you tomorrow. Nangong and Kato replied in unison. Finally, he said, slightly annoyed, to she, you too. Oh my. I really didn't expect that. She covered her mouth, pretending to be surprised. See you tomorrow, Sawamura. Humph. Sounding arrogant, Aerie grabbed her things and headed out of the AV room. I'm out too, Homura. Later, Senior, and Gara. Bye, Gara. Irian, seemingly recovered, said. It's Kato. How many times do I have to tell you? Nangong retorted. Irian waved and left as well. Kato. Looking at she, Nangong saw her looking back at him, so he said goodbye to Kato first. Kato, see you tomorrow. Then, she walked to the door, glanced back at Nangong, and chuckled. I'm looking forward to tomorrow, Junior. Ah. Oh, see you tomorrow, Senior she. Nangong was momentarily stunned. She truly was the cunning senior everyone admired, her words always so suggestive. Guess it's just us, Kato, Nangong said, then asked, is there something you wanted to say? Well, I really want to thank you again, Nangong, Kato said softly. Don't mention it. Aren't we friends? Nangong asked with a smile. Yeah, let's go, Nangong. Nangong nodded, and the two left the school. At the gate, Nangong said goodbye. Time for me to head home and cook. See you tomorrow. Oh, and one more thing. Nangong turned back, a hint of seriousness in his voice. Kato, you ever think about growing your hair out? I think it'd be even cuter that way. After saying that, he chuckled and took off, not giving her a chance to reply. After standing there blankly for a while, Kato murmured to herself, was I just flirted with? That he walked briskly, a gentle smile on his face, and said in a voice only he could hear, see you tomorrow. Lord Yen. He picked up some introductory books on programming and scripting, along with some groceries. Arriving home, Nangong opened the door and called out, Sajari. Yang. I'm back. Then, Nangong heard a thump from upstairs, followed by the sound of a door opening, and then he saw Yang rushing down and launching herself at him. Dropping his things, Nangong scooped Yang into his arms with a smile. Heh, you cute little rascal. His smile widening, Nangong stroked the little girl's soft hair. What was there not to love about Yang clinging to him like this? Remembering something, he asked the little girl in his arms, what were you doing just now? In Sajari's room? Yang nodded. Yep. You've said it all, leave it to me. This is what I promised you. Nangong was touched and gently stroked the little one's head again. So what did you do all day? Nangong continued to ask. Yang thought for a moment and said, I didn't do anything. Your sister's been up to who knows what, I just slept next to her. Then we had dinner together. When she talked about food, the little girl's eyes lit up again. Nangong felt a pang of sympathy. Because of his past struggles, she never had enough to eat, so she had a fondness for food. He rubbed her head again, and Nangong put her down, saying, okay, thank you, little one. I'm going to cook and treat you to fish. Seeing Yang drool, Nangong shook his head, amused, picked up his groceries, and went straight to the kitchen. Character name, Nangong Yan, level, 2, 40 out of 200, energy, 85 out of 100, skill points, 3, ultimate mission, become a master in the field of ACGN. After dinner, Nangong cleaned up, stroked, and nurtured the little one again. After making sure she was in top condition, his own status appeared. Leveled up. Better than nothing. I'll hold on to the skill points for now. Use them when I need to. Nangong wasn't particularly excited. After thinking it over, he went upstairs and knocked on Sajari's door. Sajri, open up. Your brother needs to see you. He waited outside the door. After a while, the door opened a crack, almost as small as it had been that morning, and Sajri's small head peeked out. In a voice so soft it was almost inaudible, Sajri asked, "What is it, brother?" Nangong organized his thoughts. "I started a club at school today. We've decided what we're going to do. For now, we're going to make a game. We've decided to hold club activities at our place, so I wanted to let you know. They'll be coming over tomorrow. Don't worry, I won't let them into your room without your permission." After saying all that in one breath, Nangong watched Sajri's reaction, and then sighed in relief. She was just silent, no negative response. Sajri was thinking, brother started a club. Is there anything I can help with? What kind of people are the other members? So considerate. After thinking for a long time, she finally said, I want you to promise me something, brother. Chapter 15. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Sajri's hesitation had Nangong Yan on edge, and then he felt a twinge of disappointment. What's the catch? Just spit it out. If I can do it, I'll do it. Nangong Yan thumped his chest. Easy peasy. You just have to do a live stream when they come tomorrow. Sajri laid out her terms. Nangong Yan. Live streaming? Wasn't that what happened with Megumi? Yep, definitely Sajri. Alright, I'll call you when I get home tomorrow. Nangong Yan agreed. He didn't exactly have a choice, did he? And hey, call me on the sneak, don't let them catch on. Sajri added. Nangong Yan was puzzled. Why the cloak and dagger? Sajri started pushing him toward the door. Just cause. Just call me, okay, if I don't do it on the sly, how will I know if they're putting on an act? I need to see their real faces, Sajri thought to herself. Nangong Yan. Looking at Sajri's closed door, Nangong Yan was speechless. After a moment's thought, he figured out what Sajri was up to, she's still green. Even Eri would see right through this, let alone those sly upperclassmen and the sage. Still, Nangong Yan decided to play along with his sister's request and do it secretly. Who knew, he was a total siscon. After clearing out a room to use as a clubroom, Nangong Yan went back to his room and looked at Yang, who was asleep next to the pillow on the bed, careful not to wake her. Sitting at his desk, chin in hand, Nangong Yan considered his options. Okay, I have a plan. If we're making a game, music is a must. So, I need to figure out how to blend piano and arrangement. Max it out. Or even learn to sing, and then trigger my skills to amplify my vocals. Nangong Yan shuddered. How many skill points would that even cost? Even if he didn't need to max everything out, Nangong Yan wanted to level up as high as possible for the sake of the classics in his heart. Therefore, his first order of business was, to level up. Nangong Yan looked at the system. The mission log was flashing. Main task, participate in Mankey Weekly New Cartoonist Competition. Mission goal, get into the top 10 of Mankey Weekly New Cartoonist Contest. Task reward, unknown, determined by final ranking. The system has chosen my path to leveling and picked my submission outlet for me, Nangong Yan thought. He turned on his computer and searched for information about Mankey Weekly. After doing some research, Nangong Yan got the lay of the land. First off, Mankey Weekly was a weekly magazine published by Mankey Bookstore. It wasn't among the top 10 in China, but it was definitely one of the big 3 comics publishers in Penglai, but things have been a little slow lately. Some of the comics serialized in the weekly magazines have been cancelled prematurely, and Zhang Ding's current work was about to wrap up, hence the competition. They were hoping to find works with publishing potential to fill the gaps in their serialized comics. He checked the submission deadline. It was this weekend. The minimum submission requirement was 3 chapters. Nangong Yan. Good thing I have the system, or I'd be screwed. And it looks like the selection is internal, not a popularity contest. Nangong Yan was a little bummed. If it was a public vote, he could have earned a lot of experience points early on. He pretty much had it figured out. He turned off the computer and took out his comic tools. Considering his age and other factors, Nangong Yan hesitated for a moment and began to draw. Under Nangong Yan's pen, a cute girl with two big bows tied in her hair appeared. The girl blushed and shouted at the tall boy in front of her, "Yi, Nozaki-san. I've always been a fan." The girl trailed off, realizing something was off. "No, I'm trying to confess. I should say, please go out with me, right?" Just as she was about to continue, the boy slapped his hands together, looking enlightened. He pulled out a marker and a signature pad. After a moment, he handed the signed pad to the girl and said, "Please accept this." The girl subconsciously took it, then realized what had happened and looked despairing. Sakura Chiyo, 16 years old, confessed to the person she liked and got his autograph. That's right. The work Nangong Yan prepared to submit was Monthly Girls Nozaki-kun, a series that received rave reviews and that almost everyone watched more than once after it was turned into an anime. The male lead, Nozaki Omataro, was a total blockhead but a talented shoujo manga artist. The female lead, Sakura Chiyo, was a sweet and lovely girl who, even when her confession failed, always fell victim to the cartoonist's bizarre thought process. As the romantic comedy between the two unfolded, you couldn't help but feel bad for poor Chiyo, but you still couldn't help but laugh until your stomach hurt, maybe even get abs laughing. In addition, Nozaki Omataro and Sakura Chiyo were surrounded by a group of friends with unique personalities. Their daily lives made people laugh and cry, and altogether, it was a rare masterpiece of romantic comedy. The only downside was, when would poor Chiyo ever achieve her love goals and express her feelings? Let's laugh for now and keep rooting for Chiyo. With the help of his LV9 comic skills, he quickly finished 2 chapters. Looking at the finished drawings, Nangong Yan wasn't totally satisfied. "I should be faster and more skilled." Nangong Yan shook his head and sighed. "I still need to practice more, fully absorb the skills the system gave me, and make them my own." That he put the drawing away in a document bag and set it aside, planning to do some more drawing tomorrow and submit it the day after. After washing up, Nangong Yan lay down on the bed, looking at the little guy. He smiled slightly, turned off the lights, and looked forward to tomorrow in his sleep. After Yang waited for Nangong Yan to fall asleep, he moved to his face again. The cute little guy rubbed his face and continued to sleep. In the darkness, there was only one person. The cat's breathing echoed softly. Early the next morning, the two of them and the cat finished their breakfast. Nangong Yan packed his lunch and Sajiri and Yang's lunches. After saying goodbye to them, he headed to school. Along the way, Nangong Yan watched the falling cherry blossoms. There weren't many, but they lifted his spirits. After arriving at school, he greeted an Iluan on the way into the classroom, went to his seat, and said to the figure next to him, "Morning, Kato." "Good morning, Nangong-kun." She glanced at Nangong Yan and asked, "You seem to be in a good mood today, Nangong-kun." "Oh. Can you tell?" "As expected of you, Kato." Nangong Yan sighed. He didn't think he was being that obvious, but Saint Hui had seen right through him as soon as he showed up. "Now that you can tell, you probably have a guess, right?" Nangong Yan smiled, asking her what she thought. Kato K tilted her head and answered, "It's probably about the club, right?" "Yeah, today's our first club activity." Nangong Yan murmured, starting to look forward to the end of the school day. Chapter 16. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The bell rang, finally signaling the moment Nangong Yan had been waiting for. "Let's go, Kato." Nangong Yan called out, heading for the door. "Yeah," Kato K replied softly. "Yo, Luan Yi. What's up with you?" Nangong Yan asked, seeing an Iluan rushing past. "Aren't you coming?" "Can't make it. Gotta get to work." An Iluan waved a hand, disappearing from sight. Shrugging, Nangong Yan headed to the school gate with Megumi Kato. Iri Riri and Kasumigakaka Shiyu were already waiting. "Wow," Nangong Yan said, surprised. "You guys are fast." "We practically ran out of there." Ing Lily and Kasumigakaka Shiyu looked a bit guilty, their eyes darting away, as if something else had caught their attention. Nangong Yan. You left early, didn't you? Nangong Yan decided not to press it, changing the subject. Alright, everyone's here, let's get going. He started walking in the direction of his house, the two behind him sighed in relief. Just as I really was about to say something, Kato Megumi spoke up, "Hey, why don't we follow?" I really jumped. "Gah, Kato. When did you get here?" "Always been here." Kato Megumi replied, used to being overlooked. "Guess I shouldn't underestimate her." Kasumigakaka Shiyu murmured, a hint of warning in her tone. "Hey! What are you guys doing back there?" Nangong Yan's voice drifted from ahead. The three of them abruptly stopped their thoughts, exchanged a look, and hurried to catch up. As they walked, passing a supermarket, Nangong Yan suddenly said, "Oh, hey, wait up a sec. I need to grab some stuff for dinner." Kato K and Irie didn't say anything. One was too reserved to ask, and the other already knew Nangong Yan, but Kasumigakaka Shiyu asked, "Huh? Junior, you're doing the grocery shopping yourself?" Nangong Yan shrugged. "I don't exactly think of myself as some trust fund kid, and I don't really like ordering people around." Ing Lily chimed in, "Lay off him, would ya? Go ahead and shop, Nangong. We'll wait." "Okay, be right back." Grateful for Ing Lily's consideration, Nangong Yan dashed into the supermarket, ready to brave the hordes of housewives. "Did I say something wrong?" Kasumigakaka Shiyu wondered aloud. Ing Lily waved it off. "Nah. She's Nangong's sister. I told you about it yesterday, right? You think they have butlers and maids or something?" Right. I even asked my junior to let his sister know we were coming. I should have thought of that." Kasumigakaka Shiyu frowned slightly. "Should I apologize?" "Nah, don't bother. Just remember for next time. Nangong doesn't sweat the small stuff." Ing Lily said, that she thought too much. "Okay." Then, she stared at Ing Lily, making her uncomfortable. "What?" Irie asked, getting the chills. Kasumigakaka Shiyu said, just surprised that Sawamura knows so much about Junior's family. "Interesting." Ing Lily didn't even blink, just scoffed. "Please. Our parents are friends. It's not a big deal." "True, now that I think about it, Sawamura isn't Barris herself." Kasumigakaka Shiyu said with special emphasis. I really instantly understood and bristled. "Huh? You wanna go, dark girl? Relax. We're just delicate flowers." The scheming senior said. "We're civilized people, remember." Ing Lily was furious but helpless. She knew she was no match for this woman in a war of words. Kato Megumi watched the exchange without a word, lost in her own thoughts. "Sorry for the wait." Nangong Yan came running, laden with bags. Kato Hui silently stepped forward to help him. Nangong Yan smiled and declined. "Thanks, Kato, but I got it. It's not too heavy." Kasumigakaka Shu and Irie, who was a little slower, raised Kato Megumi's danger level again. Is that actually going to help at all? To break the awkward silence, Irie quickly asked, "Whoa. What did you buy? All that stuff?" Nangong Yan grinned. "It's a party. Gotta celebrate the club's founding. Let's go. When dinner rolls around, you can try my cooking." He gestured for them to follow. The three women fell in behind him, each with their own thoughts. At the gate of Nangong's house, Kasumigakaka Shiyu gazed at the long wall in amazement. "Junior, your family's place is huge. It's like a mini mansion. The yard's even bigger, actually." Nangong Yan said that, expressed his humility. Yeah, the yard's big. Too bad it's just me, Sajiri, and Yang. It feels emptier than a small apartment. Ever since he'd come to this world, Nangong Yan hadn't known how to face his parents in this life, and had breathed a sigh of relief. But he thought that it would be nice to live together now. Maybe Sajiri won't end up squatting at home for thousands of years. Living together as a family is a complete family. Maybe no one can bear it after being separated for so many years. Nangong Yan thought with some self-deprecation. Kasumigakaka Shiyu was very sharp this time and did not continue to say anything for fear of stepping on the thunder. Carrying all the bags with one hand, Nangong Yan opened the door. Okay, everyone, come on in. Nangong Yan invited, secretly dialing Sajari's phone. Sajari. I'm home. Then, he set the groceries aside. Excuse us. The three girls said in unison, still a bit confused. Two people. Who's the other one? The answer soon appeared. Thump the little guy came running and stopped, seeing so many people, but rushed into Nangong Yan's arms regardless. Ha! Knew you'd come running, little buddy. Holding Yang close, he stroked her slowly and smoothed her hair. Nangong Yan grabbed some slippers and said to the three girls, come on in, we can hang out in the living room, or my room, whatever. But no one was listening. They were too focused on the little guy. Lily couldn't restrain herself. Seeing that the little guy was about to move, she asked, Nangong, what's with the cat? I didn't know you had a cat. Hearing this, Nangong Yan looked at their reactions and sighed. The allure of cute things for girls is indeed huge. Nangong Yan sighed. Well, it's a long story. Let's go inside first, and I'll tell you. Chapter 17. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Nangong Yan's room, Megumi Kato, Eriri Spencer Sawamura, and Yutaha Kasumigakaka are all here. Nangong Yan suggested the living room, but the three women opted for his room. Guys are always curious about girls' rooms, and vice versa. Each of them was more or less interested in Nangong Yan, so they jumped at the chance to check out his space. Now, Nangong Yan is surrounded, but it's Yang, nestled in his arms, who's getting all the attention. The little kitty is a bit freaked out by the stares. Nangong Yan gently strokes her back, trying to soothe her. Meow. What's up? Why are these humans staring at me like that? Yang asks, a little nervous. Don't worry, sweetie, they like you and want to pet you. They're my friends, they won't hurt you. Yang seems a little relieved. Hey, seriously, you guys are scaring her, quit staring. Nangong Yan says, exasperated. So, the little kitten's name is Yang. Tell us about her. Where did you find her? Eriri asks, curious. Well, I picked her up the day before school started. Nangong Yan gives a brief rundown of how he found her. Oh, the poor thing. The three women are immediately sympathetic, gazing at Yang even more adoringly. The little guy is seriously cute. Nangong Yan glances down at Yang, feeling touched. Huh. Where did that hand come from? Following the arm, he sees it's Megumi Kato. Seriously? Sage Megumi is using her non-existent presence here. Looking at Yang, who's blissfully unaware, Nangong Yan doesn't know whether to laugh or cry. Eriri and Yutaha notice too, and start inching closer. Yang immediately buries herself deeper into Nangong Yan's arms. Eriri, chewing on a handkerchief, mutters under her breath, damn it. Why am I so jealous of Kato right now? Yutaha, so stealthy, she must be a ninja. Megumi Kato, noticing everyone's looking at her, tilts her head, what's wrong, everyone? Nangong Yan. Eriri. Yutaha. Speaking of which, why are you holding your phone? Eriri asks, finally addressing the elephant in the room. She'd noticed it the moment she walked in. Nothing. Nangong Yan glances at the ceiling, giving a subtle nod. Eriri seems to understand and drops the subject, carefully placing Yang on the bed. Nangong Yan asks, so, what does everyone want to drink? I've got orange juice, milk, and soda. Eriri, I want Coke. Do you have any coffee? Yutaha asks. Sorry, not right now, but I'll make sure to get some next time. Nangong Yan apologizes. Don't bother, orange juice is fine, Yutaha says quickly. Okay. Nangong Yan nods, then turns to the last one. Kato, what about you? Megumi Kato, still crouched behind Yang, answers without looking up, just water is fine, Nangong. Okay, one water coming up. Nangong Yan heads out to get the drinks. He'd almost said something about Megumi touching Yang, but stopped himself. No one normally touches Yang's back. If Yang realized it was Kato Megumi, would she freak out? Like putting a cucumber behind a cat, when they see it, they jump 10 feet in the air. He decided not to say anything because he figured Yang wouldn't even notice. After all, this is Sage Megumi. Sajiri, do you want to come out and say hi? Nangong Yan says softly into his phone. It's okay, don't push yourself. They'll be around more often, you'll get used to it. As Nangong Yan leaves the room, Yutaha and Eruri exchange a look and nod in unison. Let's find it. That kind of book. Megumi Kato looks puzzled. Find what? Yarn. You know, the kind of books adolescent boys read, Yutaha says cryptically. Eruri rolls her eyes. For that kind of book, just say pornographic manga. Well, it doesn't have to be manga, there are other genres, Yutaha argues. Just look around his room, it'll all be manga. Eruri says. Look at this wall, figures, comics, and light novels. What else could there possibly be? Of course, Sawamura-san knows this kind of thing best. As expected of teacher Kashiwagi Miles. Yutaha says, stirring the pot, that's all it takes. Eruri's face darkens. You witch. Well, maybe we shouldn't do this in Nangong's house, especially since his sister is here. Megumi reminds them. Instantly, a bucket of cold water is dumped over them. They both calm down and agree to drop it, at least, not at Nangong's house. But they both realize, again, that Megumi Kato is not to be underestimated. Forget it, just give up. No matter how much they upgrade her threat level, they'll still underestimate her. No. It's really well hidden. Eruri says, but she refuses to give up. She doesn't believe Nangong Yan doesn't have something like that. What kind of otaku doesn't have pornographic manga? How would she convince teacher Kashiwagi Miles otherwise? Then, a thought strikes her. If there are no physical copies. Eruri and Yutaha stare at the computer on the desk at the same time. They head for the computer, claws extended. Huh? What's this? Eruri suddenly spots a document bag. It's bulging, with a piece of manuscript paper sticking out of habit. She grabs it and pulls out the drawing. Forget it, I'll apologize later, but I have to take a look. As she examines the drawing, her movements attract Yutaha's attention. Intrigued, Yutaha wanders over. Megumi Kato also appears beside them, and the three of them stare at it together. Okay, Sajiri, gotta go. I'll be right back with the drinks. He puts his phone in his pocket, grabs the drinks, and heads back to the room. Halfway there, a burst of shocking laughter rings out. Ha 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 ha. Nangong Yan is so startled he almost drops the drinks. Then, he sees Yang running out of the room, her body a little bigger, not fatter, but her fur is standing on end. What? What's going on with those humans? Why are they screaming so loudly? Obviously frightened and a little angry, Nangong Yan puts down the drinks, uses his soothing skills, and says softly, "It's okay, sweetie, don't worry, I'm here. Let me go see what's going on." Seeing Yang calm down, he picks up the drinks and heads into his room. What's wrong? What's wrong? Ladies, what happened? Chapter 18. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Nangong Yan's head was spinning. He barely managed to grab a drink. What the heck just happened? But nobody was paying him any attention. He just shook his head, leaned in, and took a peek at what they were looking at. Ah, it all made sense now. Monthly Girls Nozaki-kun was the culprit. He was about to say something when another burst of laughter erupted. Nangong Yan just sighed, thank goodness the little guy didn't come in here with me. He would have been terrified. Eri was crying with laughter, and Kasumigakaka Shiyu was covering her mouth, her face red from trying not to laugh. Kato Megumi didn't seem to react at all, except her shoulders were shaking, which meant she was having a hard time keeping it together too. He glanced at the comic. Oh, it was that scene with the tandem bicycle. No wonder. Just a sec. They'd be done reading soon. Seeing the three girls finally composing themselves, Nangong Yan asked, a little annoyed, finally finished, ladies? Pfft. Lily almost lost it again. Then, embarrassed, she said, sorry, I grabbed your stuff without asking. You mean the comic? It's cool. I was planning on showing it to you guys anyway. Nangong Yan shrugged, acting like it was no big deal. Hey, did you realize you scared Yangdu away? Nangong Yan reminded them. The little guy got spooked, that the three girls looked flustered. Irie and Kasumigakaka Shiyu blushed, and even Kato Megumi looked a little sheepish. Sorry, Nangong, Kasumigakaka Shiyu apologized. Where's Xiaoyang now? Lily asked, wanting him to come back inside. Don't worry, I calmed him down. He's probably with Sajiri. I'm not gonna call him back just yet, Nangong Yan reassured them. So, now that you've read it, what do you think? Nangong Yan asked. Think? Oh, right. It's, ha. Lily couldn't stop herself from bursting out laughing again, remembering the comic. She clutched her stomach, shaking. Nangong Yan just said, okay, okay. I get it, I get it. I can tell by your reactions. After a moment, Lily, now somewhat desensitized, said, so, you drew this, right? Nangong Yan nodded. Lily continued, what is your brain? You can come up with your name, a touching love story, and then this kind of, hilarious romantic comedy, *geez*, you laugh so hard you lose weight. Resisting the urge to snap back, Nangong Yan said, it's not like I came up with it. It's like they're all in different dimensions, all inside my head, and I just pulled them out. Nangong Yan didn't feel like he was the original author, but he couldn't exactly say that, so he had to give a vague explanation. So, like, the art is already there, and the artist just uncovers it? Kasumigakaka Shiyu said after considering Nangong Yan's words. Basically, Nangong Yan smiled. The others stopped asking questions. Lily thought of something else and asked, hey Nangong, why did you even think of drawing this? When I first saw it, I thought it was another Your Name story. 2 reasons. Nangong Yan continued. First, Your Name is going to be a group project for our club, so I didn't want to jump the gun. And second. Nangong Yan joked, we already have 2 big names in our club. As a planner and director, I can't get too famous, right? Then he said to Kato Megumi, Kato, don't take it too seriously. I'm just kidding. I just wanted to draw it, that's all. Kato Megumi nodded and said softly, don't worry, Nangong, I don't mind. Nangong Yan wasn't sure if she actually believed him, so he added, and there just happened to be a contest at Mankey Weekly, and I wanted to enter. Kato Megumi and Kasumigakaka Shiyu didn't know anything about the contest, but I really perked up and asked quickly, that newbie competition? They're stopping submissions this weekend. You're gonna make it in time. Plenty of time. I drew these 2 chapters yesterday. I'll do another one today, and I can submit it tomorrow, Nangong Yan said casually. Whoa. 2 chapters a day. Are you a machine? Irie felt like she was being mocked and ridiculed. Kasumigakaka Shiyu, as a light novel writer, knew something about comics too. She knew how crazy it was to draw 2 chapters a day. You're amazing, Nangong. Kasumigakaka Shiyu said, impressed. Kasumigakaka-senpai, you're too kind. Nangong Yan said modestly. By the way, we're club partners now, right? Kasumigakaka Shiyu suggested, so can we drop the Kasumigakaka Senior, and Nangong-kun? Nangong Yan was taken aback. What was happening? He asked tentatively, so, Shiyu? Yeah, Yanjun, what's up? Kasumigakaka Shiyu said with a smile. Nangong Yan sighed in relief and smiled. Nothing. Turning to the other two, Nangong Yan said, I've been calling Ing Lily by her name for a while now. Ing Lily just pursed her lips and said nothing. Finally, looking at Kato Megumi, Nangong Yan asked a little nervously, Megumi? Is it okay if I call you that? Kato Megumi smiled and said, of course, Yanjun, that the radiance of her smile caught everyone's attention. Kato. I mean, Megumi's expression is more expressive. Nangong Yan thought in a daze. Kasumigakaka Shiyu and I really were also stunned. Looking at Kato Megumi's smile, they felt like they were facing a formidable enemy. Huh? What's wrong, everyone? Kato Megumi's smile disappeared as quickly as it came, and she went back to normal. Nangong Yan said a little wistfully, nothing. I just wish you'd smile more. Kato Megumi was surprised and nodded thoughtfully. Alright, let's go to the activity room, okay? It's right next door. If you don't like it, we can use the living room, he said, clapping his hands to get everyone's attention. Then, he walked out of the room. The three girls followed him to an empty room next door. The room's pretty big, but there's nothing in it. Ing Lily exclaimed. No problem, there's a bunch of stuff in the storage room in the yard. Just grab whatever you need. He walked out again and led everyone to the storage room. Okay. There's plenty of stuff here. We can just move some desks, a long table, and some chairs, right? Ing Lily asked for everyone's opinion. After a few moments of thought, everyone agreed and started to move stuff. Chapter 19. You are listening at novelfull.audio. A few people worked for a bit, did some quick cleaning, and arranged the tables and chairs in the activity room. Once the activity room was spick and span, everyone admired their future hangout spot, feeling pretty good about it. Nangong Yan glanced at the time. Whoa, it's getting late. I should start dinner. Why don't you guys keep working? Nangong Yan suggested. I'll give you a shout when it's ready. Seeing they were about to protest, Nangong Yan held up a hand. I know what you're gonna say. A sly grin spread across his face. Aside from Megumi, aren't you two supposed to be good in the kitchen? Light novelist Kasumi Shiko and fan artist Kashiwagi Miles suddenly clammed up. Besides, you're all guests today. Can't have guests working. Megumi, Nangong Yan suggested, why don't you check out my room for some light novels or comics you might like? Just leave dinner to me. I'll show you what I can do. Without waiting for a reply, he dashed off. In the kitchen, Nangong Yan spoke into his phone. Sajiri, I'm hanging up now. Big brother's gonna cook. Then he set down his phone and got to work. Suddenly, I feel totally useless. Ing Lily muttered helplessly. Wow, that's a surprise. Sawamura actually saying something like that. Kasumigakaka Shiyu looked at Ing Lily, a little shocked. I can't help at all. Unlike Megumi, who could probably pitch in. Ing Lily explained, then turned to Kasumigakaka Shiyu, bristling. What about you? Aren't you even a little bothered? Nah, I'm good. If I can't help, I can't help. No point in stressing about it. Kasumigakaka Shiyu had a pretty chill attitude and didn't sweat it. Kato Megumi spoke up. I also think Iriri's overthinking it. It's not like you're completely useless. Aren't the character designs and scripts you're working on helping Yenkun? Kato Megumi said, trying to reassure her, and truthfully. My thing is. I can only do what Yenkun says, read comics and novels, and learn more. Kato Megumi's tone was hard to read. Megumi, you're the one who's overthinking it. Like he said, you can learn a ton and become indispensable. Iriri told Kato Megumi not to underestimate herself and to be patient. Her time to shine would come. Oh, and just call me Ing Lily. Skip the formalities, we're classmates now. She asked Megumi Kato to drop the honorifics. Hey, what about me? Kasumigakaka Shiyu asked, clearly amused. Humph. When have I ever used honorifics with a gloomy gal like you? Lily obviously didn't like her. She never won a single argument. Is that right? Turns out we've gotten so close without me even realizing. Kasumigakaka Shiyu said with mock surprise, nearly exploding. I really shouted, face red, who's close to a woman like you? Give it up, Irie, you can't win against this devil woman. Kato Megumi just sighed at the two arguing again, not even bothering to remind them they were at Nangong's house, they'd just do it anyway. Might as well let them bicker. Nangong Yan, cooking in the kitchen, heard Lily's shout and shook his head. Unbelievable, they were already at each other's throats again. Talk about frenemies. Better finish dinner fast, or nothing will get done today. With that in mind, Nangong Yan sped things up. Sajiri wasn't happy. Turns out, all the visitors were girls, and it sounded like they were pretty tight with her brother, calling him by his first name. She started punching her pillow, muttering, idiot brother. Big idiot. Yang, on the side, opened his eyes, looked at the human like he was crazy, then turned over and went back to sleep. Even though she was upset, Sajiri didn't let on over the phone because Sajiri loved her brother most of all. Sajiri secretly vowed to get out of her room ASAP. That way, she could keep an eye on them. What if something inappropriate happened while she wasn't watching? Thinking this, Sajiri punched her pillow again. Brother's an idiot. Big idiot, knock, knock, someone was at the door. Nangong Yan's voice came from outside. Sajiri, I've got dinner. Open up. She quickly tossed the pillow aside, patted her cheeks, and dashed to the door. Seeing the huge tray her brother was holding, Sajiri quickly took it. Looking at the 6 different dishes and a bowl of soup, Sajiri asked, puzzled, brother, why are there so many dishes? Nangong Yan smiled. Since the club members are here celebrating the club's founding, I made a bunch. I gave you a little bit of each, so it looks like a lot. It would be great if you'd come hang out with us, but I don't want to rush you. You're already working hard to change, so take your time. He gently ruffled Sajiri's hair. Thanks, brother. Sajiri blushed and quickly looked down, embarrassed. Nothing to thank me for. Isn't this what a brother's supposed to do? Seeing Sajiri's reaction, Nangong Yan understood and said, okay, hurry up and eat. I'm going downstairs now. Then he called into Sajiri's room, Yang. Dinner time. The little guy ran out and headed straight downstairs. Nangong Yan chuckled, shook his head, and went downstairs, calling Irie, Kasumigakaka Shiyu, and Kato Megumi. The 3 girls looked at the beautiful dishes on the table and the tempting aroma and were amazed. This guy's got too many skills, right? Cooking this well, too. All right. What are you staring at? Dig in. Nangong Yan urged. You're full of surprises. Is there anything you can't do? Lily asked. Tons of things I can't do. But I can learn. I wasn't born knowing all this. Nangong Yan shrugged, like it was no big deal. He'd accidentally pulled off another flex, and the girls just shook their heads. They couldn't win with this guy. Seeing Yang watching eagerly from the side, not eating yet, Nangong Yan was touched. He urged, okay, Yang's waiting for us. Let's eat. The 3 girls looked at Yang and thought about how well behaved he was. They liked him even more and quickly sat down. Let's eat. With that, the dining table became a free-for-all. Yang happily dug into his cat food. Wow! This is awesome, Nangong. Lily exclaimed. You could be a chef in a fancy hotel. Kasumigakaka Shiyu and Kato Megumi nodded in agreement. Nangong Yan curled his lip. Nah, I only cook for people I care about. Not interested in cooking for strangers. That even though they knew that wasn't what he meant, the girls couldn't help but feel a little flutter. Dinner ended with everyone in a complicated mood. P.S. The author will be taking a short break of 2 to 3 days. There will be only 2 updates left, and 3 updates will be resumed on Monday or Tuesday. Thank you for understanding. Chapter 20. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After they finished eating, Kato Megumi started clearing the table. Nangong Yan tried to stop her, but she just picked things up and walked away, leaving him with nothing to do. I really leaned back in her chair, patting her stomach. Man, I'm stuffed. Kasumigakaka Shiyu smirked. Wow, Sawamura-san, you're so uninhibited. I really shrugged. I'm not exactly a delicate flower. Besides, it's not like Nangong and I are strangers. We all know each other too well to care. Kasumigakaka Shiyu didn't push it. She probed and retreated, unsure of victory. I really didn't overthink it. But if she knew she'd just let a chance to win slip away, would she be kicking herself later? Thanks, Megumi, Nangong Yan said as he washed dishes. Don't mention it, Yen-kun. It's nothing, Kato Megumi replied, then added, besides, Hamura-kun asked me to look after Kasumigakaka-senpai and I really, right? So, I figured I should familiarize myself with the kitchen. Right, I get it. Nangong Yan nodded, gotta love Saint Hui. So reliable. Alright, let's do this. Final cleanup, then let's get started. Nangong Yan announced to the three girls. I'll give you some intro books on scriptwriting. That they all nodded eagerly. Upstairs, Sajiri was starting to get antsy. Why is it so quiet down there? What are they doing? She'd forgotten what Nangong Yan had said and was starting to panic. Maybe she was picturing something scandalous, because her face flushed crimson. Never mind. I trust my brother. She kept repeating this, trying to convince herself nothing was happening. The bottom line was she was too embarrassed to go downstairs with strangers in the house. After calming down a bit, she remembered Nangong Yan's explanation and what he was working on. She pouted. Why doesn't my brother ever ask me for help? That she conveniently forgot that she was secretly the popular Eromanga sensei, working as an illustrator online, a skill she'd learned from her mother. Sajiri didn't usually work with light novel authors, mostly illustrating children's books introduced by her mother. Of course, as a hobby, she also did live streams where she drew her favorite characters without showing her face, making her quite famous in the industry. Ugh, my brother is such an idiot. A total idiot. With that, Sajiri started punching her pillow again. Meanwhile, in the activity room, it was indeed very quiet. Kato Megumi was reading the book Nangong Yan had given her at the long table, while the other three were at their respective workstations, completely engrossed in their work. It was as if they could stay that way forever, lost in their own worlds. After an unknown amount of time, they were all startled by the sound of scratching at the door. Nangong Yan looked up at the clock. Let's take a break. It's been 2 hours. That he got up and opened the door, letting Yang in. He knelt down and stroked her head. Little one, I only have one rule, no practicing your claws in here, okay? Everything in here is very important. Meow, huh? Oh, okay, I'll go sharpen my claws in the yard. She rubbed against his hand to show she understood, then she strolled around the room and finally jumped onto an empty chair and curled up. Kato Megumi looked concerned. Yen-kun, is it really okay to let Xiaoyang in? Her worry was understandable. He normally wouldn't allow a cat in here, but Nangong knew cat language, so Yang was an exception. Nangong Yan smiled and shook his head. Don't worry, the little one is very well behaved. If I tell her something, she understands. I really was surprised. Wait, you're saying Xiaoyang understands you? Really? Of course. Nangong Yan chuckled, looking proud. I really glared at him, jealous. Kasumigakaka Shiyu also looked displeased, and even Kato Megumi puffed out her cheeks and stared at him without saying a word. Sensing he'd stirred up a hornet's nest, Nangong Yan quickly changed the subject. Speaking of which, how's everyone's progress? Kasumigakaka Shiyu rolled her eyes. I've finished the basic framework. Well, I've done part of it too. We can compare notes later. She looked at Ing Lily. Ing Lily, what about you? Ing Lily brought over her sketch and handed it to Nangong Yan. I've roughed out Mayami Mitsuha's character design. What do you think? Nangong Yan looked at Gong Shui-san on the page. Not bad. Actually, it looked better than the original version, but was it a bit too much? All the hairpins and bracelets. Lily, just a little thing, our heroine lives in a remote, rural area, right? Nangong Yan prompted, handing the drawing back. Lily took it, considered Nangong Yan's words, looked at her design, and realized what he meant. You mean, it's a little too fancy, doesn't quite fit the role. Yeah. Nangong Yan agreed. I think you should remove the extra accessories, leaving just the braided cord of fate. Remembering the key prop, Lily nodded emphatically. Got it. I'll fix it right away, and she immediately started working on it. Nangong Yan's other comments died in his throat. He'd wanted to suggest some changes to the other supporting character designs as well, but he didn't want to interrupt when she was so focused. Shiyu-senpai, let's brainstorm a more suitable transition scene. Nangong Yan suggested. He knew all the plot points, but that didn't mean there couldn't be better ones. As long as the main story stayed the same, other things could be tweaked. After a short discussion, it was clear that Kasumigakaka Shiyu was a talented light novel writer, and some of her ideas were really impressive. Megumi Kato watched everyone get absorbed in their work again, then picked up her book and started studying. Kato Megumi stopped, stretched, and checked the time. It was almost 10 o'clock. Everyone, it's getting late, she pointed out. Everyone snapped out of their trance and looked around. Seeing the time, they all sighed. Time flies. Nangong Yan stretched his neck. So, what's the verdict? Everyone going home, or staying here? I already told my mom it was okay if I stayed here, but, just me, some people wouldn't be happy, right? Lily said, glancing meaningfully at someone. Yeah, well, the first day, staying over at a guy's house and all that. I'm okay with it, but my parents wouldn't be. They still think I'm a good, obedient girl. Some were fine with the idea, but their families wouldn't be. Kato Megumi pondered for a moment. Actually, I don't have a problem either. For some reason, my mom seems to be particularly unconcerned about me. Nangong Yan. So, what now?